So tell me, you want to hire people, okay?
I do.
Everybody wants to be where you're at. You live the dream. You're there. Not everybody, but
You can
my
believe that,
God,
Sam.
so many people do, right? I talk to students. I want to be a CEO of a company. I want to be the president of a company. I want to start my own company. I want this. I want that, right? Everybody wants that.
Okay.
And so, what is the thing in people that people like you are looking for? That people want to rise up the ladder, they want to climb the rungs of the ladder. What's the thing that people like you are looking for that's going to help them ensure that they actually can climb up that ladder?
It's a great question.
And by the way, y'all, this is the answer right here, okay? You think about this. Listen carefully.
The thing that I look for is something that we probably have to talk about in terms of its definition. But what I look for people who have power. That's what I look for. I look for powerful people. Now, the challenge in the definition is many people will define power as that's the result of getting to the company and getting blah, blah, blah. So if you're defining power as position, title, authority, money, the semblance of control, even though it's an illusion, if that is your definition of power, you're going to miss it. If, on the other hand, you'll think a little bit about what power is, and think about people who you know who are truly powerful. Think about power in terms of clarity. Do you know people that are really clear in their thinking? Do you know people who have an impact? Do you know people who have influence over you? Do you know people who have a great degree of energy? Right? Do you know people who have a strong, not arrogance, but confidence? That's what I look for. That's what I look for. And that's what many businesses are looking for. They're looking for people who are bringing that energy, that understanding of who they are, right? Because what business is most focused on is trying to create situations where you are so excited about what you're doing that you're giving that all-in engagement we talked about. That's what business leaders want. But if you don't know yourself, if you're kind of fuzzy on what works for you, and you find yourself in a position that's not a match for you, does the company win or lose? The company loses.
And
Do you win or lose? You lose.
Yeah.
So I want that clarity. I want you to know more about who you are than maybe you do now. And I believe that there are simple questions that you guys could ask yourself that could bring you along that journey. And independent of where you go, I believe you will be more powerful. And whatever choices you make, you will make those decisions more powerfully.
But and I would say that it's not just business. When I'm looking for, we're recruiting for the Livestream team next semester. It's that. At WorldInConversation. Mm-hmm. People who I just want to kind of be with. It's the same thing. It's every organization. It might be the Red Cross. It might be, the local library. Everybody's looking for that same thing. When did you, and I get the sense among, I've been teaching 33 years. I get the sense that students are not much different than how I was. That I kind of thought, well, later in life I'll develop that power. I'll develop those things that I need. But I think that that's not what you would say. No, it starts right now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all different. I mean, one of the benefits I had, I never thought until recently that I would think about the type 1 diabetes that I've lived with for 40 years as an advantage. But I will tell you that 40 years ago, I was sitting right where you are in the back row as a student at Bentley University. And I was a pretty good student, and I didn't try real hard until I realized that my eyesight was going. And I went from the back row to about middle of the top tier to the front row of the next tier to right by that bar, and eventually I was sitting where you were. As back in the day, our instructors were spending all time writing in chalk on boards. That's how long ago I was in school. And so I have an advantage over you in that the element of discipline became mandatory for me. Since my junior year in college, I've taken 5 shots a day and tested my blood sugar 8 times a day for that 40 years. So that level of discipline, I would tell you, has kept me alive. Thank you. Thank you. But that is not something I would wish on anybody. But there is an element of discipline that was thrust upon me that I had a choice about how I would react to. And I make mistakes every day. But generally with the type 1 diabetes, I generally realize that in a jump ball, diabetes wins. So I give into it and go there. And one point about the discipline. So the choices that you can make are all about discipline and however you want to go. With your health, you guys all have numbers that you should be aware of, whether it's your cholesterol or BPI or wherever you are, BMI, and those. However you want to look at that, but discipline's one of the areas, health is one. The other area I'd ask you guys to think a little bit about is how creative are you? I just want to modify this term a little bit, because when I use the term creative, people will say, well, is this like an art class? Like you want to know how artistic I am? No, I'm not going there. I believe that we all have an ability to manifest the future. I believe, and I think I wouldn't get a lot of argument from you, that certain actions that you can take will increase the probability of a certain outcome. Actions we don't normally debate about, right? If I take certain actions, it increases probability of something happening. I, however, also believe that as part of my external creativity, what I say also increases the probability of an outcome. I also believe what I write increases the probability of an outcome. Those are the 3 forms of external creativity that I believe many people have an opportunity to be more thoughtful and mindful about. That's external creativity. Here's 2 internal creativity elements that I just happen to believe. I believe that internal creativity starts with how and what we think. How many of you are aware of your thought patterns? Can you find yourself repeating a thought pattern, and can you step back and be the observer of that thought pattern and say to yourself, is that thought pattern serving me well? Or am I a victim of what's happening because it's a habit? That's one element, I believe, of internal creativity. And the last one are feelings. How aware are you of how you feel and how that can manifest itself in how you feel and how you think and how you speak and how you write and how you act? So there's a lot of deep stuff here that I believe strongly in, but if you align those 5 elements, you are powerful. And that's a choice you guys can make. That's a habit that you guys can start to develop now, and I will tell you, if nothing else, owning those 5 elements of your creativity, whatever you choose, will make you more powerful.
And by that, you're not saying will make you the leader of a corporation, leader of an organization, president of this, president. No, more powerful in your life, whatever you choose to do.
Whatever you choose and whatever doors come open to you. Because, without getting too philosophical, we can have a whole discussion about the circumstances that each of us were born into, right? And there are things that we can't change, right? There's some things, if I want to be an NBA center, it's probably not going to happen no matter what I feel and what I think and what I speak and I write and I act. Okay, that's just not going to happen. So for those of you, and maybe there are NBA centers out there, God bless you if that's your dream and that's where you want to go. But I think you always have got to understand that you were dealt a certain set of cards when you came in. Mm-hmm. Our opportunity is to play those cards the best way we can to open up the most opportunities and then choose from those opportunities.
Cool.